doing something I've not done in quite a while. That is, I bought a new train on eBay. Well, it's not a new train, but a used train on eBay. Whatever. The point is, I haven't bought a train on eBay in quite some time, mainly because most of them out there, or at least where the deals are for used ones. New ones on eBay tend to be pretty pricey. You can usually find them cheaper elsewhere for new, but a used one, it's hit or miss. So sometimes you can find a great deal. At least in the past, I found great deals all the time when I first started collecting trains here. But over the years, especially in like the COVID era, I feel like the deals just aren't there to be had at all. But I was poking around and came across this little guy who wasn't really bidded so high. In fact, I beat the other guy by like 50 cents. Because I bid $28.24, but then with like 3 seconds to go, it said that wasn't enough because my bid was too low from the minimum increase that I needed to bid. So I ended up doing $28.78, which was the winning bid because $28.24 was not enough of an increase over the lowest bid at the time, or the next highest bid at the time. So whatever, long story short, I won. And it's been a while since I actually won an auction, like I said, on eBay for a train. This is an old school Arnold one. I have no idea how old it is. It looks very old. Made in Western Germany. It says Arnold Serie 2? I wonder if that's a clue of when this is from. I was trying to figure it out. I didn't look too hard. But it is interesting. I have had a couple of these in the past. I got a little mini tricks. In fact, let me find it. I'm gonna bust out my new bridge that I did not too long ago. See how well this works. So one of the first trains I'd ever bought when I first started doing this was this little Fleischmann. It's a newer one because it just says Germany as opposed to Western Germany on the bottom. But I love the look. Like it's really cool looking, compact, nice. It works great, but it's very slow. So there's that right there. And then later on, I ended up buying this little guy too, shortly after. It's a little Trix. Tricks are for kids. This one is from Western Germany, and it is old, and this is, I think, the worst one I have out of all the engines that I've tested with, or at least in the Great Race. If you saw the race video, I think this one, by far, was the slowest. Followed closely by this one, but I think this one was just insanely slow. But that comes to this little guy. So, this is different. I guess I got the trifecta now because Fleischmann, Trix, and now this is a little Arnold. But it's from that same era as this guy. It could be as old as the 70s. I don't think this is a 60s thing. But it could be 70s if you go back far enough. The guy on the listing says something about someone filing down the rivets up front, and I didn't know what he was talking about because I couldn't really see that in the pictures, but he's right. Something happened here, and they did it on both sides. He said something about he's seen these in real life, and that's how they really are, or something like that. So someone did. He didn't do it. Someone else did before him, I guess. But he said it runs well. It works great. So we'll be the judge of that when we get it out on the track. See how well it does work and how well it works beyond these guys. But yeah, that's the purchase. Unfortunately, I had to pay shipping on top of it and tax now that eBay taxes. See, back when I first started collecting trains around 2017, you didn't have to pay tax either, which was great. But all in, it ended up being like 38 something. So, you know, it was a little higher than what I thought. I wanted to stay under 35 for it, to be honest. So when I was bidding, I had factored in the shipping and the taxes and all that as best I could. That's why my top bid was going to be 28, 24. But someone like came in right before I put that in, and it said you're too short to bid your bid over the next guy below you. It had to be a minimum of 28.78. So I'm like, what's another 50 cents? I'll try it. If the other guy wins, so what? But I won. So take that, other guy. I beat you. I beat you by 50 cents. So, there it is. I assume since this guy tested it, it's nice and lubricated, but I might want to do that too. Although I think I'm just going to slap it on right now and just see how it works. Before that, I can. Looks like there's a bit of dust or something right there. I got to get some tweezers and try to get that out of there. Let's see if we can do some surgery. It like disintegrated on me. There's definitely something there. I don't know if you can tell. It's on the tip of that whatever. It's like dust. Like as soon as you touch it, it just disintegrates. It's really weird. I thought it was a big like dust ball, but it's, when I say dust, it's like dust particles that just disintegrate away. All right. Well, we're definitely kicking it old school here. And like I said, it's been a very long time since I got a engine on eBay, and a very old engine on eBay to be that. There's something right here. I can't really tell what it is. It almost looks like the paint chipped off. It's not on the other side, but it's definitely like part of the model. Oh no, it's not. There is something there. Look at that. That came off too. Sort of. Any hoozles, this sucker has been around because it is very old, but the detail is incredible. Like, that's what I like about it. It has character, it has style. Some of these newer ones are just kind of bleh. But that's why, one of the reasons why I like these older ones. They don't tend to work very well, unfortunately, so I'm not expecting too much out of a $28 very old engine. But as long as it runs, I'll be happy, and if it works well, I'll be really happy. But it's all there. I can't really tell. There's no like flaws or chipped off parts apart from the part where the guy like filed it down there. So everything else looks really nice. So I think it adds to the collection. Like, it's closest to this one, but you can tell it's definitely a different engine. You can see from the domes on the top, the windows itself are close, but they're definitely different sizes. Wheels are bigger on this guy. It's slightly longer too, so I'm glad I didn't buy like a duplicate of something, which I accidentally have done on occasion. So, I think it's time. Let's fire up and see how this sucker runs. Alright, since we got a tiny little engine, we're going to use the tiny little tabletop layout around my computer desk. For this one, I just happened, because I was running something earlier, happened to have some train already on it, so we're just going to use this. Let me pull it around. It's just a couple box cars and a couple coach cars and a little caboosey thing that lights up in the back. Pretty cool. Take this guy off. Let's just see if it runs at first, because I don't know. You never really know. Like I said, the guy said it runs, but you never really know until you see it for yourself or how well it does, because he said it runs great. But like I said, I'll be the judge of that. All right. Power box right over here, so it's pretty easy to see how it's gonna move. Let's see. Ooh, there's some crackling. Eee. Well, it works. Look at it go. But that sucker is loud. Let me tell you. Eek. Let's back her on up and let's see if it can pull those cars. Let's see how powerful it is. I can give a little hand test here. Oh yeah, that sucker's got some pull. For as apparently old as it is, like it's gotta be early 80s. Like I said, it could even be 70s. That other one surprised me, being from the early 70s. When I did what was it? That company that went out of business that I never heard of before in the early 70s. Okay. So, like I said, a couple box cars, which fits the model because it's tiny. And there's 2 coach cars, old school. Hey, these are them. So I got an engine and then a couple of cars. And there was another tail car too that I don't have on here. But no matter, we do have this little guy to fit the theme of the tiny engine. So let's sucker her up and let's do some pulling. Hopefully it works. Oop, wrong way. Yeah. Yeah. Crank her up. Look at that. Super loud. But hey, it works. That's half the battle. I call this a win. I don't know if I want to keep it because it's so loud. I tend to have a quieter atmosphere around here when I'm watching a movie or something. But it's got really good wheel action. That's cool. You can really see it hustle along. And this is a good speed too. Like, I don't know if I would ever run it much faster than this. You can't slow it down. Let's do that a little bit. Then the sound really tapers off. No front light that I can tell, at least not a working one. Yeah, that's cool. Old school cool, for sure. There's that little... I didn't know this one had lights when I bought it. That was a nice little surprise on that last piece. And it died. I did clean the track, so it is nice and clean. And it worked well until that point. What happened? Let me crank up the power a little. So I like it a lot. It looks great. It's amazing. The only downside is it's super loud. Gotta be one of the loudest things I have. But look how awesome it is. That's cool. I need to find out how old this sucker is from. Looks good from afar too. That's a great look. Kind of reminds me of Thomas a little bit from the shows. Where they always do that like far back landscape scene. Very nice. Alright, because we plucked these suckers out of retirement for a bit, at least normally I kind of tend to keep these in the display case for looks and show and tell because they look neat. But let's try these and see how they compare. This is the newer Fleischmann, which I can already tell you is probably going to work a little bit better than any of them. So let's go. I haven't run these in a while, so they might be a little finicky to start. That one has like a power. I didn't look at that. Do you see the sucker light up in the inside? You like see there's a like a power light for the fire. Listen to how whisper quiet that is. I can't hear anything. There's a little bit of a something. But compare that to what we just saw with this guy, it's like, why aren't you that quiet? Because that's perfect. Perfect. Look at that. That is a perfect view, perfect sound. It's picking up speed a little bit now that it's warming up. This is what I want on my tabletop. Whisper quiet. And 2 front lights. Look at that. Perfect. Look at all that wheel action too. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love this little guy. He's so great. I only use him very sparingly when I feel like it. Because he's old too, so I don't want to like overdo it. But Fleischmann to me is like top of the line. You can't get much better, and this is why right here. Let's see, can I slow it down some? Ooh. You're not gonna get much slower than that, and even then it's a bit jerky, but all in all, I don't think you or I or anyone can really complain about what we're seeing here. All right, last man up. Let's see how much of a disaster this is gonna be. Like I said, this guy does not work very well, if I recall correctly. I don't even know if he can pull this much. He might not have the ability, but we're gonna find out. All right, let's see here. Forward, I think. Oh, that's the wrong way. Here we go. Look at that. He's off and pulling like a boss. And again, whisper quiet. Well, there's a little something. You can hear it whiny a little bit. But it ain't, again, like this guy. He takes the top decimal crown. Look at that. That thing's pulling like a beast. I did not expect that. I thought it was going to struggle with all those cars, but nothing. In fact, that's really fast. Let me slow it down. Oh yeah, look at that. Super cool. Again, same era as the one we just got. Yet this one works way, way, way better. I think this one was the same price roughly when I bought it. Again, that was one of my like first top 5 engines I bought when I started collecting here. Let's add this sucker down. Yes. That is atrocious for the sound. But it looks good, like I said. That's really cool. But even this one's better, like overall, just saying. They're running about the same speed, which is cool. So they won't really run into each other. At least in a couple rounds here. Of course, that one's pulling a lot of cars for its size. Alright. Well, this was fun. I didn't really expect to pull out these other ones. This is kind of cool, actually. Let me see what this one does when I slap it down. Oh yeah, that does not want to run at all. The other two are keeping pace. It did almost no change in speed for the others when I put it down. But yeah, he doesn't want to play today with the other ones, so we're just gonna set him aside. I do have like a Toby here. Let's see what he does. Ah, he's gonna get hit. Toby! Look out! All fun and games till someone almost gets crashed and hurt. This sucker is so loud. Like, okay, let me take that off and put this guy on, see if it works. No. Now that is shocking, because I thought this other guy was the slowest, but it might have been this guy. Although they're sharing power, so I could have swore this guy was like super slow, but maybe it's this guy. Because look at that speed difference. All good. All good. Well, this was fun. This was a wreck for the sound. Sound alone is gonna kill this for me. So I'll keep it a little bit, you know, throw it in the display case. It will look good against these other ones, that's for sure. But probably at some point in the future, we'll look to sell it. Try to get my money back, you know, for his old vintage. These old vintage ones tend to relatively hold their value, so I'm not too concerned. It just, I gotta come over the hump of the shipping and the taxes and everything else. Cause I think it's worth a solid 28, 30 bucks in this condition. Like I said, I wish it would have been quieter, like some of these other ones can be. But you know, it is what it is. I thought I'd give it a go, and I'm glad I got it. You know, it was a fun ride. We had some fun today, and that's what it's all about. So, you know, 30 bucks all in, or it was almost 40 really. $40, a little bit of a premium for what it ended up being, but hey, it works, and that's really all I could really ask for. For these older, super old vintage ones from, you know, before I was even born. Someone was running around this with, you know, in the 70s or 80s. So, yeah, there you go. This one's coming on by, so it's time to say goodbye and end this one until we meet again in the future with more friends, aka Thomas and Friends. Because I'm going to get a Gordon at some point too, now that that's coming out. I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned for more, as there always seems to be around the corner.